Good evening. It's yet another person to have jumped ship, leaving Birmingham in the lurch. That was the verdict from the union Unison today at the news that the city's newly appointed Executive Director of Children's Services has quit before even starting in the job. Bernadette McNally was expected to formally take up the role in November, but has said that she's no longer interested in the post. She was recruited in August to help run a department charged with protecting the most vulnerable children in the city. It's been rated inadequate since 2008. Sarah Falkland reports.
They all tried and they all failed to turn around Birmingham's children's services. Tony Howell retired in 2011 amid severe criticism of the department. Eleanor Brazil took over for about a year, but then left to go to Stoke. Her successor, Peter Duxby, was in charge for just 15 months before he too decided to leave. So who is now overseeing the care of Birmingham's most vulnerable children? Well, this man, Peter Hay, is shouldering both children's services and adult services. He was meant to be getting help from Bernadette McNally, a qualified psychologist and director of social services from Belfast. She was appointed as executive director responsible for children's social care. Ms McNally was due to start work in Birmingham officially in just a couple of weeks' time. But then today, the shock news from the council that during her induction here in the city this month, she's decided that she's no longer interested in the post.
Well, I think it's an absolute disgrace. We've got a situation where social workers and social work assistants on the ground are being told that somebody new is coming in to provide direction and to provide leadership in the city, and it seems like 5 minutes later she decides not to take it up. To be honest, it's a slap in the face for hard-working people.
Ms McNally, though, must have been aware of what she was taking on. Children's Services has been in special measures for over 5 years, following a string of high-profile cases. Kyra Ishak starved to death in her own home 6 years ago, and as early as 2003, Tony Ann Byfield shot dead when she was taken to visit a convicted crack dealer. There may now be trouble recruiting at the top, but the real problems lie at the bottom, on the front line. Birmingham has around 380 frontline social work posts. Around a quarter of them are currently vacant. And even with the use of agency staff, 45 posts remain uncovered.
2014, and we can't protect our own children.
Yeah, I mean, is it just because people don't want to go into that area of work anymore? I don't know. Maybe it's just a lot of responsibilities.
The City Council's already appointed Eleni Ionides as an interim manager. She's come out of retirement in the Greater Manchester area to fill behind Miss McNally. But the pressure's on to find a permanent replacement. Sarah Falkland, BBC Midlands Today in Birmingham.
Well, neither Birmingham City Council or the government's Children's Minister were available to come onto the programme to talk about this issue. I'm joined by our special correspondent, Peter Wilson. Peter, any clues as to why Bernadette McNally decided not to go ahead with this job?
Well, I haven't spoken to her personally, so I can't say for sure. But what we are clear about is that she didn't make this decision for personal reasons. Back in August, when she was appointed, I'm told she was very excited. She was looking forward to the challenge. So what's happened since then? Well, this induction period is really where the officers sort of lift the stones and say, this is what you're really going to have to deal with. Presumably, she's looked at that and decided either that she's not good enough to do that job, or more likely that she feels that the tools aren't there to make this job a success.
So what's the situation at Birmingham City Council at the moment?
Some people are telling me that there's a sense of crisis. The government has put in a number of commissioners, experts to review the whole operation of the council. There's talk of breaking the council up into 4 parts, even privatising parts of social services. So there's a great deal of uncertainty swirling around. Perhaps that's also another reason for Ms McNally making this decision.
And for anyone taking over children's services in Birmingham, what's the scale of the problem?
The scale is huge. Birmingham has a population of more than 1 million. A quarter of that are children and teenagers. Ofsted said that Birmingham's record on child welfare was a national disgrace. They are putting more money in, an extra 10 million. There's supposed to be green shoots of improvement. But tonight the council is facing up to the fact that the woman they thought was going to lead them out of this mess has instead said thanks, but no thanks.
OK, Peter Wilson, thank you. And our political editor, Patrick Burns, will have more on this story on Sunday Politics this weekend, the usual time, 11 o'clock on BBC One. Screening for Ebola